honestly, I was the only person on our team who was like, I want to put the beers in there.
Do you think that has anything to do with the fact that you guys used to be homebrewers? Because it feels like homebrewers, it's like a very homebrew.
The brown ale is a my homebrew recipe.
Nice.
And it got entered in the national homebrew competition. Yeah. It got not good feedback. And it was given a silver medal at the Great American Beer Festival. So
no, that's sick.
You know?
That's funny. Welcome back to the BrewedAt podcast. I'm your host, Richie Tevlin, joined as always by Evan Blum.
Hello, hello.
And today we have on Laura Lacy from Attic Brewing Company.
Hello.
First off, congrats.
Thank you.
You don't know, there's it's now a family-run brewery.
Yes, there's a baby boss.
Yes. So I wanted to say Attic, one of the best new breweries in Philadelphia, but I think that you guys have established yourself now as like just one of the best breweries in Philadelphia.
Makes me happy.
I mean, it's
agree.
new, but like you guys keep winning so many awards, like GABF this year. Like, was it GABF this year or last year?
2024.
2024. Yeah. And then I saw you guys won Best of Philly awards, right?
We
for
did.
Like every category that you can win for a brewery.
I don't know. We were voted the Philadelphia's favorite, and
nice.
That makes us very happy.
I like it. So if you have not been to Attic, I think a lot of people haven't. It's amazing. I mean, would you call yourself a destination brewery?
It is. We knew that when we opened, and we definitely would call ourselves that.
Yes, I mean it's definitely a city brewery, but you have an enormous parking lot. So that's like
two parking lots.
Two parking lots. And then I think Germantown is always kind of slept on as far as a great social area and a great beer area. I think that it's just very fitting. You guys are kind of leading the charge of the Germantown area.
Yeah, there's not a lot of amenities there. Todd and I moved to Germantown in 2006, and we would leave our apartment and just like walk down Germantown Avenue and be like, there's got to be something. And we now 20 years later, it's like, it's definitely a slow process, but there's lots of new things opening, and the music scene, the art scene, and community events are really strong there. So if you're looking to do something different,
I've said it before. I'm driving around the whole city all the time, and like Germantown, I feel like is about to blow up. But you guys are right off Route 1, and it's just like an amazing walkable downtown area. And then you guys are right there. They're like right off the exit. It's like, it's very accessible.
Yeah, we're right near the Wayne Junction train station too. So if you take regional rail, it's pretty easy. And we get a lot of people riding their bikes too. So, but we always find the people from Fishtown, and they have so much stuff going on in their neighborhood. So it's hard to pull them. Like, come on, just one day.
Fishtown, like, there's just so much going on here, but it's like there's other breweries all over the city. But Germantown is one of those neighborhoods that I think that it can just blow up. And you guys are the anchor brewery there. I mean, there's Iron Hills and
Chestnut Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have Young American Ciders is in Germantown.
How close is that to you guys? I was just there for the first time pretty recently.
I would say it's probably maybe a mile, a little over a mile away. Germantown's a big neighborhood.
Töska's there? Töska?
They're Mount Airy.
Mount Airy, a little bit further. And then you have Chestnut Hill Brewing, Cider Belly.
Cider Belly's right over there.
Yeah, another cidery. So you can make a day of it and like make your way up Germantown Avenue or make your way down Germantown Avenue.
It's also just a great when you walk around, it like feels like you should be drinking. Like it feels like it has like that old feel to it. Like it, a beer drinking area, I guess. No?
Isn't everywhere? I don't know.
I guess, but like sometimes I'm walking around like. Fishtown does feel like a beer drinking area, but sometimes you walk around like when things are like too gentrified and too new, it's just like this doesn't feel, welcoming, I guess. I don't know, not welcoming, but it's just like it's very cardboard cutout, but like everything in Germantown like has a great look to it.
Yeah, it's one of the most historic neighborhoods in Philadelphia, and there is a lot of architecture and cobblestone streets and trees and open spaces. So definitely feels cool. It feels like it has a personality, a vibe to it. And I think we really intentionally tried to make our brewery feel like it fits and is a part of that. So,
and you said you guys lived in Germantown?
Yeah, we moved to Germantown in 2006 and had our attic apartment, which ended up being like
Turned into Attic Brewing Co.
it is. There's a little more to it, but yeah. And then we moved away for a few years to Delaware County when we outgrew our apartment. And then when we decided to open the brewery, we wanted it to be in Germantown, wanted to walk to work. So we've been back in the neighborhood for a while.
But when you guys got started, did you guys know that you guys wanted to be in Germantown? Like, were you
Absolutely.
specifically in Germantown?
Yeah. So Todd's originally from Colorado. I grew up in Illinois. We couldn't really decide that we were going to stay in Philly. And it took me about 10 years for Philly to grow on me. And then we were kind of, I had quit my other job and was like, I want to own my own business. And we're like, all right, if we're going to do it in Philly, where do we want it to be? And Germantown was the neighborhood we had lived in the most. We had a lot of appreciation for it, really enjoyed it. And then we kind of mapped out all the other breweries in Philly, and there's this big hole. And it's like, where is that? Oh, it's Germantown. So we 100% were on board with Germantown. We still love being there. But it can be a bit challenging. We just did a beer festival out in the suburbs, and people say that they don't feel safe being there or coming to that neighborhood. Or
before I started driving around the whole city, I didn't go to Germantown much. But then once you go there, I'm like, I didn't realize how easily accessible it was. It is right there, and it's like it's not. I think Germantown just has a bad rep.
Of course, and I don't want to speak for the history of the neighborhood because I still feel like I am new to it, but I agree. I think, but that's not new. That's the history of Germantown for decades because of the challenges that neighborhood has faced and continues to face with, it's not, you don't see hanging basket plants on every light post.
Yeah.
We don't have as many trash cans as we need. And there's a lot of sidewalks that need to be fixed. And how you get the city to get those funds there and invest in a neighborhood that might not have the same economics as other neighborhoods or the same, networking. Or
For sure. But I think breweries are the perfect, center business to start that up.
I agree. I think when we first decided to open Attic Brewing Company, we definitely felt like craft beer tourism is big. People would want to come check out this new brewery. And while they're here in Germantown, let's promote some of this other amazing stuff that's happening and vice versa. There's a lot of historic houses. And we were like, how do we get people who are visiting those houses to be like, oh, you're here and you're looking for something to do? Like, come visit the brewery.
Yeah.
I think the pandemic did change that, especially for craft beer.
Because you opened up
tourism.
right in 2020, right?
8 weeks before the pandemic.
So I'm sure your whole business plan took a left-hand turn.
I feel like I've opened 2 more businesses since the pandemic. I'm a little beat up right now.
Yeah.
Lots of great things, but we never, because of the setup of our building, it's in a historic building. There's a very awkward ramp that goes down to the cellaring area. It's not easy to move heavy kegs up and down. We were like, we're just going to do draft beer. We're not going to package it. It'll be destination brewery, come buy beers over the bar. Pandemic happens. Now we're canning beer. Didn't have any equipment, don't have the space for it. We still struggle for, making the logistics of canning beer happen. And then you had to be outside. So we built the beer garden in the parking lot. And then luckily our landlord owned multiple properties and we were able to take over the lot next door and turn it into the beer garden. But the money to invest in that and the time and the labor.
As you're starting up,
Yeah, we were still new. And some of the funding from the pandemic assistance we didn't qualify for. So
because you were too new?
It was because we were too new.
You couldn't show that your money had changed over the year, I guess. Or they just didn't want people starting businesses and then just taking that free money or something.
I think that there was a lot of caution around how funds were being dispersed, but I will say that most people who work for the SBA have never owned a business before. So there were a lot of questions about, well, why did you organize in 2017 and not open until 2020? And when you talk about equipment being manufactured or construction on a 130-year-old building, they don't understand how long these projects take. So they pretty much thought we were lying.
Yeah.
And then by the time we were provided the documentations that they never asked for, they were like, oh, well, there's no more money left. So can't get it anyway. But we're still coming out of that. And that is kind of where we're at right now with the brewery. Is we need to get in a healthy fiscal place in order to continue to grow. Like, take a minute, go back to what we wanted it to be, what it was built for.
As far as over the bar.
Yeah, we've seen a decrease in our customer traffic last year, and it's so hard to predict customer behavior. I mean, that's owning a business. You never know. You always have to be working at it. But then, like, pulling people to Germantown, and when we signed our lease, there was a whole development project that was supposed to happen that never happened. So we're still sitting next to empty lots. We're still sitting next to broken sidewalks.
Yeah.
And it makes it harder to be like, oh, this is really cool. And then we have the amazing beer garden, but it's hidden. Like, you can't see it from the street. So it's really pulling. And even,
you have to be telling people that they see it on social media or something. It's not like they drive by and like, let me just stop in for a beer.
Yeah. And we meet so many people who are like, oh, I live around there. I drive past it every day, but I've never stopped. And I'm like, you should stop. Just stop. Just stop. I'll buy you a beer. Just stop.
Was Deeks there when you moved in?
They opened the same time we did. So we knew that they were coming as our neighbor. I think it was literally maybe a week or two between officially opening, but we opened at the same time.
And you can bring the barbecue into your tap room?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can. And then we do rotating food trucks. So
that's awesome.
Today we have a taco truck.
So not to jump ahead, but can we talk about the food truck a little bit?
Of course we can.
Can you give like an introduction?
Sure.
Name of that?
Yeah. So we are opening Bad Nina's, Home of the Good Dog. It's our new food trailer project. And it's gourmet hot dogs, grilled cheese sandwiches, but really gives us the opportunity to do a lot of different things with food. And yeah, we were supposed to add a kitchen and have had a lease signed for 3.5 years to expand to the next building, the adjacent building to the beer garden. And the project's just been very slow going. And we just need the flexibility and want to do this project. So coming from Chicago, I have had a few hot dogs in my life. Right. So we just took a trip we worked with this company in New Jersey who was able to bump the project up if we allowed them to bring our food trailer to the National Restaurant Association show in Chicago.
Cool.
Oh, that's
so it just was in Chicago. We took a trip out there to see it for the first time. It's back in New Jersey now. They're finishing it up. And so we have to get the trailer, go through the health inspection, get our team trained, and then be able to open, but hopefully in the next few weeks.
Awesome. And would that be parked out in front of your brewery, or you guys?
That's the goal. I mean, I have a 5-month-old baby. I'm not trying to drive a 14-foot food trailer around, but depending on how popular it is, if we run into the same challenges about, not getting enough foot traffic or pulling people, then we'll start doing some of the pop-up markets and festivals around the city. But there isn't a big hot dog scene in the city.
No, there's not.
So maybe we end up with 6 food trailers next year. Who knows?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an exciting project. It is separate from Attic Brewing Company, but because we own both the
You're
companies.
so close. Yeah. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah. But it allows us to do food and beer deals. So you want to watch the Phillies and get a beer, get a hot dog, like we can do that. If we want to open early, stay open late, we can really lean into Oktoberfest with like sausages.
Cool.
Nice. We have a huge watch parties for Eagles games, so we can do some of the, football foods and just have fun with it.
Yeah.
And it's got Nina's face on it, which is so cute.
You have a great space for like watching sporting events. I feel like it's just a pretty perfect setup. But yeah, when me and Cole were there, I forget if the Eagles were playing or not, but it just felt like pretty electric.
You would know if the Eagles were playing and you were there.
They weren't.
Wall-to-wall people in there.
Yeah, it wasn't completely filled. It wasn't Philly season either. I don't know who was playing.
But it's very homey feeling. Like it feels like you're just like, at your house watching a game. Like sometimes you go to like some newer breweries or new bars and it just feels very cold.
There was a lot of intention behind that. Before we had ever planned on opening a brewery, we were just fans of craft beer. And Todd and I, we met working for the National Park Service, and we would go to Chicago or Colorado or visit national parks. And then our favorite thing to do was visit local breweries because they would tell us like the best, trails to hike or where to camp, like that weren't as well known, like the local spots. And we would just mentally take notes of all these things that we really liked about these different breweries, never thinking that we would open a brewery. But when it came time to design it and pick the furnishings, we were led by number one, we were broke. So a lot of the furniture came off Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. But then also making it feel that way because we had the same experience. When you walk into a new place and everything feels too new, you're almost afraid to get comfortable. Like you don't want to break it or get it dirty.
Or it's just fun one time, but it doesn't feel like when you're at your bar, you feel like you can go back every day or like multiple times. And it's just like sometimes when things are too new or they're just like too designed, it just doesn't feel like this is an everyday place.
Yeah. And it definitely is an everyday place. We wanted people to feel like they could be regulars there. We wanted people to feel comfortable. And it blows my mind. The first week that we opened, like people came in and they're like, how have I lived here? And I never knew this was here. I'm like, because it wasn't here. Like it's new, but it looks old.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you designed it like that, but I guess you just have a good eye for Facebook Marketplace. You're probably pro now if you just fitted out your whole bar like that.
Yeah, I mean,
we were just on Facebook Marketplace before you came over looking at like how to upgrade the studio in here. Yeah. So we might have to take some tips from you. But
it takes time. You have to know what you're looking for. And then we have the Tiffany lights above the bar, and I probably bought 15 of them. And then, like, the scrap, the ones that could have worked if we needed them to, but they weren't our favorites.
You found those on Facebook Marketplace?
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. And I went into, thrift stores, and they wanted $200. I was like, I can't afford that. But we were finding them for $30. The best is there's a blue one that hangs at the end of the bar. And when I bought it from the woman, she was crying. Oh. And she was like, this is sat over my kitchen table, all the meals with my kids. And I was like, well, now you get to go into the brewery and share beer with your kids.
Yeah, it's not hidden in someone else's home. Like everyone else gets to experience now.
Yeah.
I think when we went as well, Todd told us the story of the actual backdrop bar.
The back bar, yeah.
How crazy that is, getting that in, all of that. Because you found it at a thrift store as well, right?
We knew we wanted a back bar. We had Khyber Pass. This was it's around the corner from where Todd works, one of our favorite places. And we were like, it just changes the feel of the bar, like these old back bars. So we thought we would just find a bar that was going out of business or had been, like a building abandoned, and they'd be like, oh yeah, you pull it out, you can have it for free, and learn that is not the case at all. There is a huge market for antique back bars.
There's an antique shop on 2nd Street right around here.
Where we got it from.
So you go in there, and I've been in there before. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize how expensive these things are. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Yep. So that's where we got the bar from. And we first went out to Lancaster, and we're like, okay, or Reading or somewhere, and looked. And they were like, $100,000. Oh, this one was in Al Capone's basement. You can buy this one for $200,000. And we're like, we can't afford that. We picked the one piece we could afford was 6 feet wide. And I'm like, that's too small. Let's go back. And we went into the place on 2nd Street, and the owner had heard about us opening. And I don't know, he just kind of wanted to be nice to us, really.
Yeah.
So we told him our budget, and there's a lot of bars in there, and he has multiple warehouses, and he pulled 3, and he's like, these are the 3 you can afford. And so they were great to work with and came and installed it. So we didn't have to move it. We didn't have to install it. And then my brother came and added on. It wasn't quite as long as we needed it to be, but my brother added the shelves for the glassware and paint or stained it so it looks like it matches. But yeah, it's cool. And it not cheap still, tens of thousands of dollars, but it really anchors the space, and we needed something like
that. It's a Madison bar too. It's it feels like like you said, the person that came in was just like, I can't believe I've never heard about you before. Mm-hmm. It feels like it belongs there.
Mm-hmm. I think there's energy in some of that furniture too. It's
definitely
makes it feel that way.
Yeah. So I guess going back, you said you and Todd used to travel the country and kind of picking up all these little things from different breweries.
Yeah.
How long was the time from you guys, I guess when you guys met, was it first like you guys, was craft beer always a part of kind of?
No. I went to school in like the middle of like went to college in central Illinois. Like,
Yeah.
it was like Natty Light. That's what we were drinking. Like I had no palate for beer.
Yeah.
And I remember that I moved to Philly right before a Super Bowl, like in January, and I got invited. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to stop and get beer. And then I learned like the crazy laws around beer in Pennsylvania where they're like, you can't buy beer on Sundays. And I'm like, what in the world is happening? But I was just drinking whatever. We worked at Valley Forge with some park rangers who were a little older than us, but were in that wave of imported beer and really finding good beer.
Yeah.
And so it was us dressed as soldiers, like Revolutionary War soldiers in huts at Valley Forge. We would go camp out and they would bring all of these beers. And they were like, okay, everyone brings something special. And I brought Yingling because that was like new to me. I thought that was like, it is craft beer, but like it was new to me. But they were sampling us. So I had a Saranac caramel porter and I was like, what in the world is this? And that's kind of, that would have been like 2005-ish.
Cool.
So Philly's craft beer scene wasn't as big then, hadn't really started, but Chicago, Colorado, California, like a lot of breweries had already been opening there. So yeah, we got into it. And
Do you know Rich Wagner? He's a beer historian in Philly.
I've heard of him. Yes, I don't know him personally.
So he does like kind of like that, like he dresses up as like this old, like but he dresses up as a old brewer back in the day, and like brews beer with like, you know, different herbs and spices and stuff.
Yeah, a friend of ours does that too, and they may have done it together.
Probably,
yeah. They like set up at different things. Yeah,
not a lot of people doing that.
No,
old way. But I guess you guys just started doing that, and then it's just more. You got more and more into craft beer, and then eventually it kind of took over.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, it's. Don't know when you're going to air the podcast, but it's about to be Philly Beer Week, and it's kind of died off a little bit. And I look back, I used to adjust my work schedule for Philly Beer Week, and that's what Todd and I were doing. Like, we would go and find all of our favorite breweries who were doing tap takeovers. Yeah. We'd be like bouncing to 3 or 4 places every single night, finding these events, doing this stuff. And it was just kind of part of our life. My family still lives in the suburbs of Chicago, so we were just there. But Three Floyds was close by, and that was like a hard to get brewery. And we would take people's beer orders, drive our car to Chicago and load it up with 12 cases of Three Floyds and like bring them back. We would go on road trips, spend hundreds of dollars on beer. And then our attic apartment was at the top, and we just text our friends when we got home. We're like, hey, anybody who helps us carry the beer up can like take some home with them. And I don't know. It was just something fun for us to do. But I mean, it sounds like we were drinking a lot. I guess we were. But again, like, you know, we'd go out to Portland and spend a few days visiting breweries, and then we'd go beach camping for a few nights.
But at some point, I've heard you say you got Todd a homebrew kit.
Yep.
But then eventually it just turned into like, no, we're brewing our own beer.
No, I wouldn't say that. Even during that period, he homebrewed as a hobby, but it was never as
like a thought that you would turn this into something.
No. And I was only involved in like the bottling process, which if you've ever homebrewed and bottled beer, I had no interest in it at all.
Yeah.
Find someone else, and if you can't, then I'll help you. But he was just doing it as a hobby. And I think Todd, I wish he was here, he's babysitting, but he was a little creative with some of the beers that he brewed. So I wouldn't say it was rushing home to grab the mugwort beer out of the fridge or whatever. He brewed a good homebrew.
No, but he's pushing his boundaries. He's like trying to learn, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was just a fun hobby.
Yeah.
We would have a homebrew competition every year, and that was always fun. And we'd set it up where like you'd go to different stations and taste people's beer, and it was really all about just having fun with it. But we were still buying a lot of craft beer from breweries and drinking that more than we were homebrewing.
This episode of the BrewedAt podcast is brought to you by Zilka & Co., your trusted regional brewing supply partner. Family owned for over 100 years of business, Zilka delivers world-class products at competitive prices with flat, $5 delivery fee. No pallet or liftgate charges thanks to their own fleet of regularly maintained trucks. With locations in Allentown and Hunker and a technical brewer on staff, they provide the expertise and service your brewery deserves. Reach out to Brad Adelson in the show notes and let him know BrewedAt sent you.
So I guess was it you that was decided, like, I want to do something else, I want to start my own thing? You're getting a little bit better at this. Let's turn this into a real thing.
Yes. It really wasn't even that thought. I had to quit my job. I decided on a Tuesday, I cannot work here anymore. I'm going to leave. I had saved up some money, I had no debt. I paid off my student loans, paid off my car. I was like, I feel okay leaving for a short time. And I always knew, like, if I have to go back, I can go back. And so I told him I'm quitting. I don't know what I'm going to do. And then kind of took some of those surveys you take in high school. What should I do with my life?
Yeah.
And realized I think I want to try to own my own business. And it got down to either I'm going to do like woodworking and make furniture, or we're going to try to open a brewery.
Do you have any experience woodworking?
Zero. I have zero.
But you enjoy it. It looks cool, and
just
working with your hands. Or
I like working. I don't like sitting behind a desk.
That's the same thing as brewing, but it's craft. It's craft.
Yeah, it's like I knew I had an interest in it. Where it would have taken me, who knows? Maybe I would have been making like pallet benches, or maybe I would have been making, custom furniture. Who knew?
Yeah.
Or maybe I would have started it and not enjoyed it and stopped. But a friend of ours who works in the industry was like, hey, did you hear that the Craft Brewers Conference is coming? And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. And that was 2016, and looked into it, paid a few $1,000s for us to join the Brewers Association and then get passes. I got a pass for myself to go. Went the first day, and then I said, Todd, you have to take off work and you have to come. And met owners of breweries that we idolized. Like, we were fanatical. We still are fanatical about like craft beer.
The CBC showroom floor is like very much like you walk around like it's as much as like a nerdy craft beer thing. You're walking around, you're like, holy crap! Like, I know just random people walking around. Just I don't know you, but you're a famous beer person.
And I knew it was weird. I feel weird saying it, but like I was like, oh my god, there's Tom Keogh. Oh my god,
yes,
there's Sam from Dogfish Head. Or
I met
there's Carol Stout. Oh my gosh,
who is it that owns Allagash? Rob Todd.
Mm-hmm.
I met him around that time, and I embarrassed myself. It was really weird.
I doubt that you just embarrassed yourself.
I just kept complimenting him, and I was just like wasted, and he was just like, okay, just get a picture and move on.
But I think like nobody made me feel that way, and every single person I met, nobody was like, take a second thought before you decide to do this.
Yeah.
They were like, go for it, and if you need help, here's my business card. And then I happened to be in Ohio, and I had that business card, and I called them up, and I was like, hey, I'm actually going to be here. Like, could I come by? And he's like, I'm not there, but here's the name of my brewer, and he's going to take you on a tour, and he'll answer any questions that you have. Or we went to Denver, and we were there, and I walked into the brewery and just started asking questions, and all of a sudden we're like getting a tour of equipment, and they bought their equipment from China, and he was like, this is why you shouldn't do that. I have a tank I've never used, and everybody was so helpful and encouraging. And I was like, okay, like, we're going to do this. And it took us almost 4 years, like just about 4 years, to get from that Craft Brewers Conference to opening our brewery for many different reasons. But it was literally just take one step at a time. And we had setbacks and disappointments along the way. We thought we were going to be in a space, didn't get it. Thought we were going to get funding from here, didn't get it. But we just kept going. And then all of a sudden you're like, the door's open, and you're like, holy crap.
Now it's just begun, I guess. Like, when the doors open, it's like, now it's like getting, like, opening up a business is so much different, I would assume, because I'm still in the opening phase. It's so much different than actually running the business itself. Like, as much as did you guys build out the space itself?
Our landlord includes most of the build out. So I didn't have to manage the construction, but we did have to design the space. We had to work with our brew house is custom made.
Yeah.
So we did have to work with the layout, at the size of things, where things were going to be, what the how they.
But setting that up has nothing to do with like you actually running the business itself after the fact, kind of, right? Or is that? I mean, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but it's like you're almost like that's a full project itself, and then like you're just switching gears immediately when the business is open.
I think everyone's experience is going to be a little bit different, but for us, there's so much paperwork and regulation around owning a business that going through the opening part allowed us to prepare, but be better prepared to run the business.
Because you're just thinking about it and you're going through and double checking and kind of like doing everything.
Yeah, it's all the stuff that you never would have thought that you had to do. You know, like there was just so much stuff that like I never thought about.
What was the, like financially or as far as like the build out process, do you think was like kind of like the biggest?
I mean, working with the city to get licensed.
Okay.
It's just like, you literally are like reading this paperwork with words that you don't understand. And you're like, what? Let me read that again. You know, like, and then they're like, now give us a check for $2,000. And you're like, what? Then we'll come visit you. And, you know, it's those kind of things that, you know, like you have to figure out. And then.
Yeah, you can't really account for that either. You don't know what you're even thinking of sometimes.
Yeah. And so, and then you have a budget, like you have to pitch it. It's in your business plan. Everything you're going to spend every dollar on is in your business plan. And then all of a sudden it's like, you didn't plan to seal the floors. And then it's like, okay, now I don't have any more money. And if you haven't run out of money yet, I hope you never do. But when you do, then you learn what to do when you run out of money. And then you got to, and that's the same thing with owning a business. Like when you overdraw on your bank account, you're just like, oh, I've been here.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. Like when we quit our jobs, like it was a big hurdle. And like, granted, we're still in the process of like building this, but it's like,
it's the mindset.
It's the mindset of like just like dealing with just like the unknown at all times. It's like, you know, you're just dealing with new problems that you've never dealt with before. Where like if you have like an actual like corporate America job, yes, you're dealing with problems, but it's like, no, this is going to sink the business if I don't figure this problem out. But it's like every single week there's a new problem like that. And it's just getting used to
it will never stop.
Things.
It will never.
It is fun. It's exciting, but it's stressful at the same time.
Our ice machine went down and finally got it fixed today. But did I want to spend $500 to fix the ice machine? No, I did not. But it's fixed now. You know, it's like the stuff will never stop.
Yeah.
Never stop. But you learn like to just roll with it. And once you in yourself will learn how much you can handle. And I promise you, it will be much, much, much more. Like we got to that exciting place of opening our doors. And then 8 weeks later thought that the whole business was going to close. And it was like, never did I, like I never would have imagined that we would get to where we're at now. And
and now you're opening up a food truck company. It's like
crazy.
Just taking on more and more. But I guess that's like the idea of taking on a food truck before you open up this brewery was probably much more intimidating than now that you're opening up a brewery to kind of take that on.
I never thought I would own a food. Last year didn't think I would never. Yeah. There's just something. I am an entrepreneur. I know that I am. I'm an ambitious person. I will get up at 4 o'clock. I will get up early in the morning. Last night, bartender called out. I closed, was there till 12:30, had to be back at 9 a.m. Like, I have no problem doing that. It's much more challenging with a 5-month-old baby who has to like come with me.
Well, thank you for taking time out to come on here. But
this is great. Line these beers up. Mama's out. But it'll take you, you will go further than you ever thought. And I will say, it's great that you do the podcast so that you're meeting people and you have a network.
Yeah.
But you have to have a network of people, whether it's good relationships with your vendors. And it's scary when you can't pay someone, but have conversations and build those relationships, because most of those companies have been around and you're not the first person who hit struggles. Or many times if I tell them my problem, I know somebody and let me help you out. And that's what you need to keep going and to get to the end. And there is no end, actually, to get open. We'll just say that, to get to that place. The other part of it is that, and I struggle with this myself, is that it's almost like I chose this. And I sometimes feel like the whole world is like, you can't complain because you chose that.
Yeah.
It's problems that you chose to have. And I'm learning that like I am validated in my feeling that this is hard, and that I struggle and like some days are better than others, but there's still a huge community around craft beer and most people want you to win. So they may not want to hear the truth when they're like, how are you doing? I've definitely unloaded and been like, I should have been like, great, how are you?
You shouldn't have asked me.
But most people want you to win. People are excited to see your project open. Philadelphia does not have as many craft breweries as many of the major cities. There is room for more. Find what you're passionate about, how you can make it unique and special to yourself. And like, there's room for everybody and everybody wants you to be here and succeed.
So what I guess was your guys' vision of how you wanted Attic to be perceived? Like, was there a style that Todd was brewing? Was there like a vision that you saw of like you want kind of like how Attic wanted to be like kind of seen in the Philly beer space? Like does that make sense? Like,
it does make sense. That's a really good question.
Because some people come on, like, I don't think that Human Robot, when they started, wanted to be the lager brewery, but now they want to be the European lager brewery.
I remember Jake saying, actually, he's like, we're just going to make hazies.
Yeah.
We're just going to make hazies, but then you fell into the...
And then some other breweries that kind of like lean into certain things. Like, I don't think of Attic as leaning into a certain one style or a certain one theme. Like, you guys are you guys are winning all these awards. You guys are doing something right. But like, what is kind of the theme of like what you thought Attic would be? Or what do you think Attic is now even?
So I think the quality of the beer was always a high priority for us.
Like you said, you got the American-made brewing. I mean, it's a new brewing system, which is also unique.
Yes. We decided to go with this brew house because when we met people who had bought used equipment, you have to be handy. And I was like, I don't know a damn thing about fixing a brew house.
Yeah.
And at that point, when we made those decisions, we didn't have our brewery yet.
Yeah.
We knew that Todd needed to keep his full-time job. He would not be brewing.
Yeah.
But we didn't have our brewery yet. So I was like, if I had that person and they were handy, maybe we would have gotten a different brew house. But knowing like Quality Tank Solutions, this service and the process was amazing. It was worth every single extra dollar that we spent.
Cool.
I think for us, it was the quality of the beer that was the most important thing. We had been to breweries that opened and the opening day, the beer wasn't great.
You don't see many breweries going out of business that have bad beer. Yeah, there's some businesses that are still in business that have bad beer. There's not many that have good beer that are out of business. You can kind of lean on that.
Yes, but there are also breweries that may have mediocre beer who are still around.
Yeah,
I'm just saying for us.
No, I agree with you.
I just wanted it to. It wasn't compared to anybody. It was our own standard for it. We wanted it to be really good. I think the part that kind of dictated the direction that we went with what we brew came when Bogdan came on our team. He was someone that we knew. I asked him so many times and he said no. But
where did he come from? Like, or how did you guys know him?
He was, we met him through a ranger that Todd worked with. And he was brewing for Trogs at the time.
Cool.
And so we were just like, hey, can we talk to you about stuff as we're getting this going? And then he ended up leaving Trogs and going up to Trillium.
Oh, wow.
And then he went to Forest and Maine and then ended up at our spot.
Oh, cool. So that's like a wide range of all different types of breweries. That's a great resume.
Yeah. And it is their loss that he doesn't work for them anymore. Absolutely. He is the best fit for us. And I think one of the best breweries in the country. And it's such a pleasure to work with because when we opened, he did not come in and talk to Todd and I like we were idiots. We knew how to homebrew. We knew a lot about beer, but we had never brewed beer commercially. And although he had all of this experience, he walked through those steps right beside us. We were all together learning how to scale recipes, and he was open to taking our homebrew recipes and brewing those as our beers.
Is that what a lot of your beers are today?
I wouldn't say a lot of them today, but at the beginning they definitely were. And then now we just have so much going on that like Bogdan kind of leads the brewing.
Yeah.
We all discuss what we want to brew. And,
Yeah.
but we 100% trust his judgment. So if he wants to do an Italian Pilsner, we are not nitpicking what hops are in there or how it's brewed. It's just like, sounds great. Go for it. But I think for us, we stick with classic beer styles. That's what I would say we do. So we're not throwing in
smoothie sours for Attic.
We're not throwing Oreo cookies in there. We really try to stick with classic beer styles.
Cool.
And then we do a lot of collaborations, and we use those to kind of have a little bit of fun. So we do the Barrel and Flow every year. And,
Yep. That's in Pittsburgh, right?
It is. If you haven't been, amazing beer festival, a lot of fun and really well done. But those are kind of where we'll do some things that are a little bit more outside of the box for us. You know, last year we did the watermelon. Was it a Goza sour watermelon beer? Tasted like a Jolly Rancher.
So which are, I guess, are your main beers? I mean, I think when I think of Attic, it's just like so many different beer styles. So you have like 50 or 60 beers rotating through probably at all times.
We do. We don't really know how to do that. And part of that was because of the pandemic. I think we all just were so stressed and sad that we resorted back to like what made us happy, which was creating beers. So we just, every week we were brewing a different beer.
Yeah.
Not really understanding the business side of it.
And also you guys are self-distributing, right?
We are on a very small scale. 95% of what we sell is through the tap room, and
But it's not like you have a distributor that's like, you need to make this beer for us. So you guys kind of decide.
Is that what you work with right now?
Well, I have a wholesaler, but I am making new beer all the time. But it's like, I went into it telling them that. It wasn't like, sign with me and then like left here and turn like, I want to do whatever I want.
Yeah. Yeah, we just, honestly, I hope one day we look back and laugh, but we just said what beer we're brewing next week. It's like it is not planned out, and we kind of go with the flow a lot. There's things now that we've learned, like, we know when to brew the Oktoberfest to have it ready, because we've had it out in August and sold out of it, and then we've had it out in October and sat on it.
That's my favorite way that brews operate, because then like you're so close to like if you decide what you want like a week or two beforehand, as long as you like have your raw materials kind of like on hand, then you're like so close to like what the customers want. Like you basically can like turn on a dime and like brew whatever they want immediately.
Yes, but because we brew so many beers, everyone comes at me and they're like, when is this coming back? When is this coming back? When is this coming back? And I was like, guys, we did win medals for Belgian beers. Like, maybe we should brew them more than once a year. Maybe
you guys do have a lot of Belgian beers. It's what's your Belgian triple that you guys have
over there?
Yes,
Good beer.
Yeah,
and Petrucci is the one that won last year, the Belgian Strong Dark Ale.
And when you guys started getting into craft, like 2005, 2015, like Belgian beers were, for a while, whoever brewed the best hazy IPA was considered the best brewery in the country.
Yeah.
Now it's like whoever can brew the best lagers is considered the best brewery in the country. For a long time, it was whatever American brewer could brew the best Belgian beer was considered the best brewery in the country.
I am going to challenge you on that.
Yeah.
And say that mentality is specific to a population of people.
This is our listening audience.
That is a very specific way. And I will agree that is absolutely what happened.
Yeah.
And hazy IPAs and lagers are the most like popular beers that we sell in our taproom right now.
Yeah.
But because our taproom is diverse, the most popular beer when we opened was a Belgian triple. And it was because people wanted a strong, full flavored beer. If they were drinking a beer, they wanted it to feel special.
Yeah.
And a $7 lager doesn't feel special to them, but a Belgian beer in the tulip glass with in
your tap room, that kind of feels like what you should be drinking a Belgian triple.
Yeah. So I think that's where we have to continually challenge ourselves. And for us, the opportunity for craft beer is thinking outside of that box, that we can't all move in the same direction and be elbowing each other out. We have to think of new and different ways to
attract. You're not a sheep. You're doing your own thing. I think that's in many ways why you're winning all these awards and why you're like winning, like, because everyone else is trying to do the same thing. Yeah. You're thinking as you want to think. And like, that's what the best breweries are doing.
I should just keep taking the compliments, but I just want to tell you.
That's what we do. We just invite people on and just compliment them.
I just want to tell you the truth. Have you ever entered a beer in a competition before?
With victory, we were into beers, but
I don't want to take away. I am 100% proud of the accolades that
I know it's some sort of a crapshoot, but it's like
it's when you're entering an English style brown ale, it's not the most crowded beer category, and we understand that. So we enter pilsners, we enter hazy IPAs. We've entered 26 beers and won medals for 5. So we're used to also not winning awards for beers as well. And some of that is just that those categories are just so crowded. The competition is just bigger for those medals.
yes, but I mean, I don't know. But you're still winning awards.
100%. That's why I'm not going to take it away. And I think that all of our beers are really, really, really good.
But I think some of those categories where it's like the Pilsner, like the hazy IPA category, there's 300 beers that get entered at GABF, probably more, that could win that award. And it's just like, who's to say this is the best one that they tasted that day? That's like a total random, like, pick it out of a hat. Congratulations, you get to be the GABF hazy IPA winner this year.
And we've gotten the feedback that the beer has gone to the final round and we just had to pick a winner and it wasn't yours. So,
Wow.
And so for us, it's like that beer is just as good as the winning beer. It's just, they're all that good.
Yeah.
But the medals are really fun. One day I'm going to wear them all. I should have showed up today with all my gear.
I had not entered any beers for Space Cadet, but it's like, I think I just need to be a little bit larger, I guess. But like, I don't know. It's like I think people do like it. I mean, I'm thinking about you guys winning medals, and like, I don't know. I think customers still, it used to be that every brewery you had to enter competitions.
And I don't think that that's true. I think, honestly, I was the only person on our team who was like, I want to put the beers in there.
Do you think that has anything to do with the fact that you guys used to be homebrewers? Because it feels like homebrewers, it's like a very homebrew.
The brown ale is a my homebrew recipe.
Nice.
And it got entered in the national homebrew competition.
Yeah.
It got not good feedback. And it was given a silver medal at the Great American Beer Festival. So,
No, that's sick.
you know,
It's funny.
but we go into it. We have been to the competition the last few years because Todd's from Colorado and we visit our family while we're out there. But we've gone out there and not won one year. We went and didn't win any medals. But it's always nerve-wracking and exciting. And I wish that they would host the event other than Colorado, because Colorado and California have these, when anyone from the state wins, it's like eruption of applause and everyone's excited. And then we win and it's a little handful of us who are like, who's that? So it would be cool to have it
Rotating.
Yes, and I think it might be part of the reason why a lot of Pennsylvania breweries don't enter that competition anymore, is because it seems far away. It really doesn't affect your sales at all. So it's expensive to enter. You have to pay entrance fees and then ship the beer, which is expensive. But for us, we're kind of like, we can't stop now. We got, we're going. But we just got back. I went to Indianapolis and went into a brewery that there had to be 200 medals on the wall.
Wow.
It's like, okay, I feel like we have a lot, but like they've got a lot.
Wow.
But I think a lot of Philadelphia breweries, you have a lot more than most Philadelphia breweries.
I mean, do I humble brag? I mean, in the since we've been open, we're the most awarded Philadelphia brewery, and I'm very happy for that. But,
yeah, that's awesome.
We're more proud that we get to be different, and like we're in Germantown, and our community, is so supportive and so excited for us, and like those wins are more important than the medals. And so it's just like we're really proud to be in Germantown, and like really proud to like kind of feel like we're all doing it together.
Yeah.
And that's what makes us happy. But I mean, honestly, most of the beers we win medals for, we only brew them still once a year, and
Just to win a medal.
no, but there's so many. There's just because it won a medal doesn't mean that it's the one I want to drink all the time, or the one everybody wants to drink. And we like variety of beers and different beer styles, so it's like fun when they're on. And we try to have them on for our anniversary to like make it special, or definitely promote it when they come back on. But
I saw last year. So you guys are not the only Attic brewery.
We aren't.
Coolest thing.
So there's Attic Brewery in the UK, and then there's a third one, right?
In Malaga, Spain.
Okay, and then
Yes.
you guys all brew. Well, it was for some event or something that.
So, yeah,
Or was it the Eagles played?
In time for the
the
Phillies.
Phillies game.
Phillies,
Monday.
yes.
Yeah. So, opening and owning a brewery has been rough. So in 2024, Todd and I decided that this year we're going to do fun things. Like, we can't just keep like working on the slim budget and not doing anything that we enjoy. And so when we first opened, we had been kept getting mistagged on Instagram for this Attic Brew Co. And then we got emailed their bills and we were like, what the heck? It's just funny. Like, hey, see that you're there.
Yeah.
Maybe one day we can meet each other. And so we were like, the Phillies are playing in London. And I was like, give me a reason to go see the Phillies in London. And we had just pitched the idea, like, how would you feel about brewing a collaboration beer? And they're like, well, would you mind if we invited the third? We didn't even know that the third existed. We're like,
the side
what?
room.
Yeah. And so we all met up in April of last year in Birmingham in the UK and at Attic Brew Co. And we brewed the beer together, all of us. And then Todd and I flew back in June, and the Attic Brew Co. had set it up to have the beer on tap at a couple pubs around London. So we went back to their brewery to officially release the beer. And of course, their community was like so excited. And then, we got to enjoy the beer right outside of London Stadium after watching the Phillies game.
That's fun.
Oh, cool.
It was. And in an industry, we own the trademark for Attic Brewing Company in the US,
Yeah.
but it doesn't do anything outside of the US. And, in an industry where it feels like very, this is mine, cease and desist, it was cool that all of us were like very open and excited about the opportunity to work together. And then to meet them, we should have had like a psychologist there. Like, we're going to give everybody the name Attic and tell them to open a brewery and see what they do with it. And to see like the Attic Brew Co. in Birmingham, you walk in and they're talking about inclusion and diversity and community. And it was just like very similar to us, the way that they worked with their team, the benefits they offered. It was just like very similar to the way that we worked. And Attic in Malaga doesn't have a tap room, but a lot of the same, like we all just meshed so well together. It was just like nice people. And to know that they're existing in the world, like sharing the same name as us, it was like really great. Like, I'll be mistagged for them any day. Like, go for it. The biggest challenge was deciding on what beer to brew because of the country's beer preferences. So in the UK,
What is craft beer like in the UK?
so
Because here you can brew like English style beers, and they're considered like craft beers. But like, is that the same thing over there?
oh, of course. And they do like on craft, like the
Okay,
gas
cool.
gals, hand pumps and everything. I think the hazy IPAs are like really popular there,
Yeah.
the same as they are here. And Attic Brew Co., like, kudos to them. They're like putting out a lot. They brew a lot more beer than we do. But they get taxed based on the ABV of the beer. So they needed it to be low ABV. Well, Todd and I are like, anything. America, we brew anything. In Spain, people think of the low ABV beer as like not special. So they needed it to be really high ABV. So the idea was we were going to brew it together and then each of us brew it back at our own breweries. Todd and I did brew it in the US, but they didn't end up brewing it in Spain because they were like, we don't have a tap room. Our wholesalers aren't going to pick this up. So
Yeah.
the idea is please get me to Malaga, Spain, so I can brew a collaboration beer with them, and then we'll do more. But we tried to find like, does this exist? Like, has this ever happened before? And could not find it. And that it's not even like one of us had been open for 20 years.
Yeah.
We literally all opened like within a year of each other. It's like really, really wild, and no idea. And we have it on video, but we were like, let's just talk a little bit about it. Like, how did you pick the name Attic? And it was we lived in an attic apartment, and it was all three of us, and it was like, this is so weird.
You're just looking at other versions of like yourselves, different countries.
That's what I mean. It was so weird. The branding is different. You know, like they each of us actually took it and like did our own thing with it, but it's just cool. And to know that we have like friends around the world now, it's really special.
I was listening to some podcasts that you've done this week, and I put on one. I was just like, all right, what's going on here? They got an accent. And I was just like, this is the wrong attic. Like 5 minutes into it, I was just like, what am I doing?
Like you're talking about my Midwestern accent.
Yeah, no, it was them. It was funny though. So I guess, do you guys have like events that go on? Like, I mean, you guys are like this destination place. Like, I know you have done stuff in the past with Philly Beer Week, right? Mm-hmm. Now that's kind of, like you said, is not happening this year.
Oh, I'm leaning into it, man. It's my own party. Yeah. I would.
So we actually are doing an event at, and this is going to come out after the fact, but we're doing an event at Standard Tap this Friday.
Saturday or Friday? Friday.
New Kids on the Block.
Oh, yes. We've been a part of that before. That's a good event. That's a fun event. Yeah, we're still, I feel like I have to, like, I don't want it to go away. I want it to stay and I want it to grow. And
well, Evan's going to run it next year. He doesn't know it yet, but he's going to add it onto his plate. We've talked about it a little bit, but I think BrewedAt is just like in a great position to kind of take over something, even if it's not what it was, but just do something fun with it, just promote craft beer for a week.
And that's what it really used to be that way. And I think that we can get back to it. And all of our breweries need to feel that. And next year with all of the huge events, we need people like visiting local tap rooms and getting that feel of Philly. And so we have the Hammer of Glory is traveling around this Friday, and it'll end at Attic Brewing Company.
Do you know how it's getting there?
I don't have to move it. I just know I have to do something wild when it arrives. Last year I dressed as Jason Kelsey. We'll see what we do this year. We have, what else do we have? Sunday we're doing we have a coffee beer that we're releasing, and we're doing Coffee House Vibes, a book swap, live music. We're doing a ladies' night. And then we have West Philly Orchestra performing. So different things. And then throughout the summer, we kind of fell off a little bit with the baby, getting things on our event schedule. But we do have some cool things planned. We're going to be celebrating our 5th anniversary again. To do it during the summer, we always have to celebrate it in the cold January. So we'll do some fun things with that. Live music in the beer garden. Different things. Lots of things for Oktoberfest. We're like going to lean hard into September and October with lots of cool Oktoberfest events.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then what is it? What's the food?
Bad Nina's, home of the good dogs.
That's exciting. That's so exciting.
I hope so.
Yeah. I love hot dogs. Hot dogs
and beer go together
so well.
Hot dogs, beer, and Phillies go together.
Mm-hmm. They do. They do go together. I don't know that we can do dollar dogs, but because we're doing like really nice
fancy dogs.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's fancy, but
not $1
high quality. It's not like we like really sought out some good places. And the Chicago dogs, everything is from Chicago. Like this is the most, it's authentic, 100% Chicago.
I've never visited Chicago. Are fancy hot dogs actually all over the place?
You can get a Chicago dog a lot of places. When I was there, I did a tour, and I will say, one is probably enough. I don't know that you have to eat a ton of them.
I went there last summer, and I had like 4.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah. I loved it. But
yeah, deep dish pizza and Chicago hot dogs. It's a lot of stuff on a Chicago hot dog, though.
Yeah,
salad,
it's a full meal.
Yeah. But yeah, we're excited. Lots of cool things happening and.
Nice. So we were told by our producer that we need to talk about our beer more. So you brought La Libertad. Mm-hmm. Mexican lager. Have you guys been brewing this for a while? And you said Todd designed this label?
Yeah, Todd, all the labels that are here today, Todd did, but we do partner with a lot of local artists to do our label art. It's just happened to be the ones that I grabbed today. Todd did these labels. La Libertad is one of Todd's homebrew recipes. It's a Mexican lager brewed with a little bit of flake mace, give it a little bit of sweetness, but perfect for the season. And we brewed this beer 3 times, more than we've ever brewed a beer before. So we are leaning hard into it, but it got released right before Cinco de Mayo, and like we've already sold through it. So it'll be back on again in, I think next week. You want me just to go through them?
Yeah, let's go through them.
Yeah, Fast Tracker. This one is a session hazy IPA. And I think one of the things that Bogdan does really well is doing the low ABV beers, but still getting that full flavor. So if you like hazy IPAs, but don't like the 7-8% ABV, this one is, I think it's 4.5%. So
Sessionable IPAs, I feel like it's been,
yeah, they're great.
yeah, I've just been hitting really well right now.
Yeah, and it still has all the flavor. It doesn't taste watered down. It's a really full flavor. And then the dark beer, the Bloodhound Brown Ale, which is the English style brown ale. That one won us our first Great American Beer Festival medal. But it's an English style, but we brew it with a little bit of rye malt from Deer Creek Malt House. And that rye just adds another layer of flavor, a little bit of pumpernickel, and it cuts through the sweetness. So a lot of people with brown ales, it's like a sweeter beer, where this one kind of goes on more savory flavor. But they're all within like the 5% session range, which seems to be popular right now. You can have a few. Good for tailgating, beach.
Yep, good for everything. Cool. So I guess, do you have anything else to promote before kind of turn off?
I guess I don't think so. I mean, no.
We've talked about everything, but I think, thank you for coming on. Like I said, like Attic is like I said, new brewery, but not even a new brewery. You just established one of the best breweries in the city right now. So thank you for coming on.
Thanks for making time. I know it's not easy right now.
This is great. Let me come out. No, thank you for
I'm
having
not drinking
me.
with my friends. I'm making content. I'm marketing. But thank you for coming on here.
Thanks for having me. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. And you can follow us at BrewedAt, at the BrewedAt podcast. And then we'll follow you guys, or
We'll follow you.
we'll follow you, but we'll catch you guys next week. Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.